YouTube's largest and most trusted creators, this company is a complete scam. Now, I do have to say that I believe most of these creators don't realize that it's a scam, with the exception of one who we'll talk about in a minute. But that does not get these guys off the hook, and they need to do more research on a sponsorship before accepting the $20K plus a month these guys are making from doing deals with this scam company. Now, before I break down how this company is a scam, I'm going to let these creators in a montage of clips explain what the company wants you to believe they are doing.
All thanks to our sponsor.
All right, guys, so we have, if you watch YouTube, you probably heard these content creators talk about established titles multiple times. Leon Lush, so many different creators, even Rich from Review Tech, and we trust all these YouTubers like Stephan for financial advice. And here's the issue. Let's take a look.
Sponsor established titles. Their project based on the historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lords or ladies in English, and that means as of today, that's right, I'm officially a lord.
Better than that is to give those fun, tangible assets as gifts for the upcoming holidays. And thanks to today's sponsor, Established Titles, you can do exactly that and become a lord or lady.
Shout out to this video's sponsor, Established Titles. Established Titles is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies. Dedicated land, so they can call
You just look at the title of that video.
In return, they commit to plant a tree with every order and protect the beautiful, pristine woodlands of Scotland.
Today's video is brought to you by our friends over at Established Titles. Do you want to help global reforestation efforts? Do you want to help preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland? Well, here's a nice last-minute gift to absolutely do that right for you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English.
Did none of them actually do research at all, or they just followed the actual guidelines of
plot number? Kind of like an NFT, except it exists in reality.
Now, unfortunately, everything said there, from the buying of land to being given a lord title and even the planting of trees, is a complete lie. After researching this company, I uncovered a web of shell companies devised to hide who actually operates this scam, and what I will show you in this video will truly shock you. So with that being said, let's break this scam apart piece by piece. The first issue is the most fundamental, and that is the fact that when you buy one of their 1 square foot plots of land in Scotland, you aren't actually buying any land at all. What they are essentially selling you is a gag gift known as a souvenir plot. Under the Scotland Law and Registration Act of 2012, it's not allowed for these small plots of land to be legally sold. The law states, Land Registration Scotland Act of 2012, Section 22, in subsection 1b, souvenir plot means a plot of land which is of inconsiderable size and of no practice utility, and is neither a
souvenir plot. See, it's a souvenir plot. Imagine buying a house and they call it a souvenir plot.
Recorded to the Registrar of Sassenach. The seller will unlikely sell a souvenir plot of both considerable size or practical utility and registered plot. The disposition will be unable to be registered in the land registrar. This means that the buyer cannot acquire a real right of ownership in Scots law. Therefore, it is impossible for buyers of the sale to become owners of a souvenir plot. No other form of ownership is recognized by the real right of ownership, as discussed above, owing to Scots property laws, Romans laws of influence. So basically, the company that owns Established Titles, and I'll get into who they are in a minute, bought up a bunch of large parcels of land and is selling off phony titles to small portions of it. If you were to go to Scotland and try and claim your land, or try and do anything with it really, you would be laughed at because you don't actually own anything. Established Titles is still the landowner, and they give you a worthless piece of paper telling you that you own land when under the laws of Scotland, you clearly do not.
See, okay, so see, that's they're selling something that's not accurate, and that's...
The custom is that you now become a lord or lady and can add that official title to your name. Sadly, this couldn't be any farther from the truth. Now, this old wives' tale has been around for a long time, and the Court of the Lord Lion, which is the highest court in Scotland in regard to giving out titles, said this to clear up the situation. Ownership of a souvenir plot of land does not bring with it the right to any description such as laird, lord, or lady. The words lord and lady appear to those on whom a peerage has been confirmed and do not relate to the ownership of land. Ownership of a souvenir plot of land is not sufficient to bring a person otherwise ineligible within the jurisdiction of the Lord Lion for seeking a coat of arms. So right there from the highest court in Scotland, they said flat out that ownership of land does not bestow a title of lord or lady to you. So Established Titles is 2 strikes down, and before we put the final nail in the coffin, I think it's safe to say that they are a scam. They don't actually sell you any land, and they have no right to bestow a title of lord or lady to you. Now, the final issue I want to bring up is the fact that they say that they plant trees with every purchase, and that by buying one of their plots of land, you are saving the woodlands by buying it and preventing its use for other means. Now, Established Titles does not plant any trees, despite what their YouTube sponsors tell you. The only thing Established Titles does is donate money to an actual tree planting company called One Tree Planted. On top of that, they have never provided any evidence.
It's like me saying, hey guys, I feed the homeless.
So
But I
basically,
actually
you have to
don't
take
feed the
company's
homeless. I
word that
actually
you're
give
really
like
donating money
$2
plant
to
trees.
a
On top
homeless
of that, if
shelter,
you really
and
wanted
they
to plant
feed the
trees, you can
homeless.
save
Like
yourself
that's
some money
actually what
by
they're
not
saying.
buying a scam plot of land and just give your money directly to One Tree Planted. Finally, the land that they own is already part of a protected land plot away from any major cities, so by giving them money, you are not actually helping the environment in any way, you are just lining the pockets of these scammers. Now at this point, I think I've made it very clear that this company is a scam, and hopefully most of these big creators will cease partnerships with this company. Some of these creators do seem to know that the company is at the very least fishy. Spencer Cornelia, former Grift Slayer, has been responding to people leaving comments on his videos the past few days about the company being a scam, and Spencer's response is basically he thinks it's okay if it's a scam because it's harmless and they're planting trees with your money. So according to Spencer's logic,
That's
if I
not
were to
what's
steal
happening,
something
though.
from his house, pawn it off, and then use some of the money to plant some trees, he would be okay with it because ultimately I did something good. So with all that
That's a
being
good
said,
way to
it's
get to
fairly
him.
clear this is a scam company, but let's go into just who actually owns and operates this company, and it's a whole web of different companies that's involved with this, so it's pretty crazy. So if you actually come to their website, Established Titles, this is it right here, and one thing I have to mention right at the top, right now they have a Black Friday sale, and they always seem to have a timer. You can come back any time of day, anytime, and there's always a countdown clock of 1 hour, so you got to get your deal right away, and that's a very scammy thing.
Timers are
a
always
lot of these scam
bad.
companies do a timer that basically never runs out. You can come back later, it restarts. But if you go down to the bottom of the page, you go to the About Us section of Established Titles, and you'll see that it has this picture of this lady, and basically it says that this lady, Katarina Yip, created Established Titles after visiting the Scotland countryside. She fell in love. She wanted to start her company. Great, that's all fantastic. So we can actually look this lady up. I found her on LinkedIn. This is her page right here. And if you go to her LinkedIn page, you can see that she's based out of Hong Kong, which is very interesting. Not in Scotland or anywhere near it, but you can see that she's actually involved. She's currently employed by 3 different companies. The first is called Failed Ventures, where she is the co-founder and president, and she's also a board member of Galton Voicier, I think that's how you say it, and
None of these
board member
companies are
of
at all.
Trifecta Retail Ventures. So let's take a closer look at these 3 companies, and it's going to be really interesting what we find. So if we go over to Fail Ventures, this is their actual page, and it says "Come Fail Together," which I think is quite funny. That's the name of the company that is running this scam company, Established Titles. It's Fail Ventures, Come Fail Together. So basically what this is, it's a venture capital firm, someone who we'll get into who it is in just a minute, but they pump a bunch of money into this company, and this company tries to set up a bunch of these fairly shady, if I would say somewhat scammy companies online. They're all internet, e-based commerce websites trying to make a bunch of money, and you can see that they have all of the failed companies. They've had like 70 failed companies, and eventually they have 1 or 2 companies that are successes and make a bunch of money. And these are their 4 successful companies. They have Deal Dash, which we'll talk about in just a minute, Galton Voicier, which is the other company that this lady Katarina works at, which we'll get into, Kamakito Knives, and Established Titles. So Fail Ventures is the company that owns Established Titles. They also own Kamikoto Knives. Now, if you don't know about Kamikoto Knives, they're another company that is heavily promoted on YouTube. I believe I just saw a sponsorship post from them on the Quartering just the other day. I think he did that as well.
Huge shout out to this video sponsor,
Man, the Quartering's
Kamikoto.
weird.
That's right. Kamikoto makes Japanese steel
Kamikoto
kitchen
knives.
knives using traditional techniques from Japan.
So they're another big company that's promoted. They're also run by the same company that owns and operates Established Titles. Now, from there,
Man, the Quartering's really just hitting it up, man.
About Us section, and you can see these people at the top. These 2 people you need to be aware of. They're at all these companies. There's William Wolfram, who's the CEO co-founder, and Katarina Yip, who is the president co-founder. So keep in mind, those are the 2 people. So from there, from Fail Ventures, they're the ones that own Established. Let's go to the next company. Now, the next company is Galton Voicier. This is their LinkedIn page. It says they are a manufacturing company located in Hong Kong. This is their actual website right here. If you go down to their all-star team page and look at their people at the board, you can see William Wolfram and Katarina Yip again at this company as well. And this company seems to be the manufacturing arm of all of these different products they create, as far as the knives, as far as getting sponsorships for Established Titles. That's what this company seems to do. Now, both of these companies are based out of Hong Kong, so China basically, and I think it's very interesting that these companies are based out of a country that has very lax business laws. You can get away with a lot more somewhat shady type business practices in Hong Kong and China as opposed to most Western countries. Now, what's really interesting is if you look at the
that is an accurate statement. That's a very accurate statement.
They are based out of they have an office in Hong Kong, but they're based out of primarily southern Finland. So they're from Finland, and this company is actually owned by the Wolfram guy that we saw on the other page. So all 3 of these companies were founded by William Wolfram, and William Wolfram is a Finnish man who I believe he has a long history of creating some of these, I would say, shady companies. He dropped out of school and at 16 created the website Deal Dash. So this was his first company that actually made him a ton of money, and then he has since created these other companies in Hong Kong that now produce these other shady type companies online. Now, Deal Dash, if you're not familiar with this, I won't go too detailed into it. Deal Dash is basically like an eBay ripoff type site, but what they have is massively discounted prices on their products. Some products, you can get like a barbecue that's normally like $200, and it's currently going for $1, right? Now, how it works is people bid on these items, and it slowly goes up over time. Now, aside from eBay, how eBay works is the top bidder has to pay for the product. On Deal Dash, everyone who posts a bid, you have to pay for all of your bids. Now, it does say that in the small print, but most people don't realize that. So people will put all these bids in for like $1, $1.50, $2, and what they don't realize is at the end, even if they don't win the item, they have to pay all of the bids they made. So this company is incredibly shady, and they make a ton of money by
so that's how they get you then. Okay.
And they have to end up spending a bunch of money. So what ended up happening was there was actually a lawsuit against Deal Dash because some of these customers, they were having very deceptive marketing. We're saying like this lady, they have a bunch of ads where this lady's like, oh, I won this thing for $2. But what they don't tell you is she actually spent like $100 in bids and actually paid more than the manufacturer retail price of the product because she had to bid so much. So this website has been sued before. There's a bunch of scammy stuff going on here. And one thing that's really interesting is if you actually go back to failed ventures and you look at a lot of these failed products, they were actually selling on Deal Dash. This was part of the lawsuit that Deal Dash was involved in, that Deal Dash was pretending that a lot of these products were actually high-end name brands, but they were actually products that were created by the creator of Deal Dash, and they were just putting them on their site, and Deal Dash didn't actually have to pay pretty much anything for these products because
it's their own products.
So
yeah.
This guy, Wolfram, has a history of these incredibly, I'll say, shady companies that he operates, and now he has moved pretty much all of his businesses over to Hong Kong, which is really interesting because he is from Finland. So why would he do that? Now, like I said, my opinion is because Hong Kong and Chinese laws are a lot more lax as opposed to the laws in, Finland or most Western countries. So I just think that's incredibly shady. Now, one thing I have to mention is all of these websites, whether you go to Established Titles or any of the companies that own or work with Established Titles, there is no mention of them ever having an office anywhere in Scotland or the UK. They are firmly based out of Hong Kong. They have no connection whatsoever to Scotland, and they don't seem to have any offices there. Now, if you actually go to Established Titles, they do have an address for in Scotland, and that address just leads to one of the plots of land that they have bought. So they do own a bunch of land in Scotland, but they don't appear to have any offices there. So from what I've said earlier in this video and what I've shown about who actually owns and operates this company, it's run by William Rolfriend, who has a history of making Deal Dash and these other type shady companies. I don't know why anyone would want to do business with Established Titles. I really see no reason why we want to do that. They're not a legitimate
Well, it's
company.
because of the amount of money they're making a month, though.
To tell the truth, and they are actually donating some money to plant trees because I can't find any evidence on their website that they are actually planting any trees. But I'd love to hear your opinion below. What do you think about this? Do you think these creators are fine for promoting, for sponsoring this company, or do you think they should all stop?
What I would like to see is let's go to Twitter. What I want to see here is there we go. Is anybody talking about this? What? He be posting some wild stuff in here. What are you talking about, man? I don't see him at all. Oh, he didn't talk about anything. What about, let's see here, Leon, let's see. Okay. I'm going to something else, but if you guys don't know, the big controversy with this, because
undeniably. I mean, I don't follow it too closely, but he is.
did they not know that this was a joke? Okay. But anyway, I don't see anybody. Well, actually, let's check the YouTube channel real quick. Stupid channel is. Spell this. Hey guys, comment below if you've heard actually comment on this. Let's see. I don't know why my computer's moving so slow. There's no reason why it should be. Yeah. And didn't say nothing. But people. Oh, we got some.
Hey, what's going on? Jeremy here. I got an email. I got all of your emails today. I woke up to about 50, 60 emails. Very well thought out, thoughtful emails from my viewers saying like, dude, you got to check this out. Like, I'm not being sarcastic, dead serious. A bunch of tweets too, like, bro, check this out. There was a video on a company that sponsors a bunch of YouTubers called Established Titles. They've been a sponsor on this channel for many months. And most recently, I just signed a contract with them through the end of the year for a big Christmas push. You probably saw, like, you've seen an uptick in their video ads on my channel. As a result of this video and the information that has been brought to light, at this point, I'm going to pause any future ads for Established Titles. I don't see any purpose in ever risking any chance and there's no chance I ever want to risk our relationship, our trust. Okay. Very easy to do. And so I would never, ever, ever risk that. In terms of the actual specifics of the video, look, I legitimately, and you guys know this, I know you know this because of the way you email me. It's not like people are like, you're an evil person. You're just like, bro, check this out. Unfortunately, that's not what's the case with a few other YouTubers, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I thought it was just a gag gift. Like, okay, you get this gag gift or whatever. Somebody's like, haha, it's funny. Whatever the case is, you get this thing. So like, I never really saw it as this like nefarious scheme, scam thing. But I do think it's fair to look into companies. And that's a good thing to do. And it's a good thing to, follow up on who's selling these certain things and maybe other businesses that they were tied to that aren't so favorable in this particular case. I don't know how many people bought an Established Title because they were planting trees or if they were, for this kind of stuff. But to me, I thought it was always thought it was kind of a gag gift. But that doesn't really matter. If people feel wronged by them, then it's my responsibility to do everything I can.
People feel wronged by them. You advertise that
foregoing
that's so stupid. You advertise
but
that or something.
And it gives me a great opportunity.
Anyway, guys, this is Mike APG Studios, and I appreciate you guys for spending some time with me.